Hi guys, again, my name is Lauren Rhea. I'm the owner of Premier Martial Arts here in Columbus. This is our video where we're going to be looking at a throw, either hip throw or shoulder throw, where we're going to be analyzing the execution of that throw based on the first 6 components of the 8 components of quality technique. I'm going to use 2 adult students here. Nathaniel, let me do introductions. Guys, this is Nathaniel Peterson. Obviously, he is a blue belt. He's been with me about 1.5 years. 2 years? Okay, come to attention, bow, have a seat over there. Next one in the green grappling uniform is Anthony. He's a UFAF member. He's been a student here for a couple of years, but he's taken a bit of a break to play football and basketball, but he's coming back soon, right? Because if he doesn't, I'm going to track him down and choke him out. And this is Miss Kayla Marini. Kayla is a first-degree black belt in Taekwondo. She's a crossover applicant getting ready to move to Texas and hopefully get connected with Mr. Sines there for her crossover black belt test. You guys would come right here, right about here in the middle, face each other. And since we're doing judo, we're going to slide over that way a little bit. We're going to use Japanese words. Katsuke, right? Okay. From here, we're going to grab the uniform. I call it here locking up. Grabbing the lapel with your right hand and the sleeve with your left hand, both of you. Okay. In Japanese judo, the person that's being thrown is called uke, which is Anthony. The person doing the throwing is called Tori, which is Miss Marini. Okay. The first component of quality technique is posture. Okay. Kayla, step in, do the fit in. Okay, see how she is leaning forward just a little bit? That's acceptable. If she were to lean forward a lot more, lean forward, that separates her back from her opponent's upper body, which violates that first component, makes it impossible for her to do one of the most important things in throwing, and that's getting your center of balance below your opponent's center of balance and lifting their weight. Okay, back out. So when you're setting up this throw, if you're looking at it from the Japanese Kodokan or sport judo, they use the word kazushi. That's controlling your opponent's center of balance. My background is in Korean Judo. I'm a 2nd degree black belt. We use the phrase breaking the balance. It's basically the same thing, but if your posture is out of alignment and you're leaning forward, you're not going to be able to control your opponent's posture or their center of balance. Okay. The next component is lines of power. That's the most efficient path for energy to follow. Okay. To demonstrate this, I want to have them separate for a second. Anthony, I want you to get in just a regular stance. Okay. Every single stance has a strength. Every single stance has a weakness, whether it's side stance, ready stance, fighting stance. Okay. Anthony, get in fighting stance. Okay. Kayla, get in fighting stance. Okay, where their feet are placed tells me where their weakness is. Okay, so if we're looking at component number 2, line of power, I want to attack the weakness of this stance, which is going to be my line of power. The way I found to demonstrate this is to tell them, guys, I'm getting ready to push you, I'm getting ready to pull you. Okay, I want you to resist. Don't counterattack, okay? But I want you feel free to move your feet however you need to, but don't let me break your balance. Okay, you can relax your arms. Okay, come this direction, I'm going to pull them toward me. Just adjust your feet as you need to. Okay, guys, please take a note on exactly how they're reacting to this from their feet and their upper body. Okay, from here, fighting stance, or you can put your hands down. Pushing him, and then pushing her. Okay, what you saw them do, since I've taken them through this before, they know what I'm doing, know what we're doing, but they reacted instinctively, the way 99.9% people react when you push them. They post that back foot, and they use the strength in their legs and their core and their upper body to resist you. When you pull them, they post that front foot, use the strength in their legs and their core and their upper body to pull away from you or to resist you. That's like blocking a back knuckle. Your hand comes up to block it without thinking about it. It's subconscious. But if you know they're probably going to react that way, you can use it against them. So pulling or pushing against that front leg, both of you get in front stance. Pulling or pushing against the front leg or the back leg is attacking the weakness of this stance, which is not a line of power. attacking the gap in the stance is the line of power we're looking for. Okay, so again, once again, I'm going to pull you or I'm going to push you. Resist, adjust your feet however you need to, but don't let me pull you off balance. Okay, from the back, it's a little easier to demonstrate it. From here, I'm getting ready to grab her lapel. I'm telling her, I'm pulling you toward me. Move your feet however you need to, but don't let me break your balance. Okay, granted, she's a little bit smaller than I am, but attacking the gap in this stance is attacking the weakness of this stance, and that's where my line of power is. So as I'm trying to throw Anthony, I'm not going to bring him this direction. I'm going to step into this gap and take him here. Okay, attacking that gap, guys. That's line of power. Component is method of generating power. Master Science posted a video. You guys, you can relax. Several years ago, you don't have to go to ready stance, just relax. Posted a video several years ago of an ancient Okinawan master doing blocks and punches. And that ancient Okinawan master was using snapping and full hip action as they were doing the punches. It was pop, okay, as they punched, doing that snapping hip action, locking that hip into it, applying that method of generating power. When another method of generating power is lowering your center of balance. As we land in this punch, we make our impact at the same time we land in the punch, and our center of balance drops just as we make impact. We're going to use lowering our center of balance in a judo throw as a method of generating power, because that allows us to get our center of balance below our opponent's center of balance and lift them, okay? So this time I'm going to switch roles, you two, lock up. Okay, now Anthony is Tori, Kayla is Yuke. Kayla is the one that's going to be throwing. Now this is going to be challenging for Anthony because he's getting ready to throw somebody that's shorter than he is. He has to get his center of balance below her center of balance in order to generate that power. So he's going to use an ippon senagi, step, trap, and turn. See how low he's been in his knees? As tall as he is, and as, well, I'm not going to say short as she is, she's not as tall as he is. He has to bend his knees really, really far in order to develop that power by lowering his center of balance. Okay, back out. Guys, okay, separate. That's method of generating power, okay? Next component is footwork. I'm going to spend some time on this because it's really, really important. The definition of footwork based on MDS 501 is transporting posture and anchoring technique. Very, very important, okay? You guys get close to each other like you're getting ready to start grappling. Okay, don't just get in a fighting stance. Okay. Using footwork to bridge the gap from point A to point B is something you've been doing in UFAF since you started out as a white belt. It's lunging, slide up lunge, shuffle up, okay? Switch stances. Switch stances, both of you. Okay, now, she's going to reach out and grab his wrist. She wants to move forward so she can execute osotogari. Move forward, grab his wrist. Now, she's going to move to his outside in a shuffle up so that she can get in position to execute the throw osotogari. Just do it slowly. As you lunge forward that way. Okay, now back out. Now she's going to do a shuffle up, going from grabbing the wrist, shuffling, and positioning to execute osotogari. Okay, back out here a second. So from right here, she was just showing you lunge here, lunging in. Okay, another way of using your footwork to bridge the gap from here to here is that shuffle up. Okay, trying not to actually throw you without you being ready for it. Okay, that shuffle up gets you to the point where you need to be. My Korean instructor used 3 concepts that he used to beat into us, sometimes verbally, sometimes physically. That was body positioning, footwork, and leverage. Those of you who understand the 8 components, you realize that all of those are found inside the 8 components of quality technique. What that tells me is that this is universal. It's based on the laws of physics. It applies to Taekwondo. It applies to the Chuck Norris system. It applies to Okinawan karate. Okay, move back, we're facing each other again. So that footwork gets her or gets him in from point A to point B to where they can lock up and execute the throw. Okay. The other part of footwork is your position of the foot. Nathaniel, if you would come back out here again. All right, you guys move back just a little bit. And I want you to stand right here, face the camera. All right. The direction your foot is pointed has a direct impact on your center of balance. This is the best way that I've found to demonstrate it. Everybody's going to be getting into a wide stance. You can either call it a horse stance, straddle leg stance, side stance, wide stance with your knees bent, posture straight up. Okay, what I want you to do, and this is something that, you guys, if your legs get tired, let me know. This is something that's universal to UFAF. Some other systems don't do this, but our toes are pointed straight forward. Whether you're in ready stance, side stance, straddle leg stance, horse stance, whatever you call it, however you apply it, toes are straight forward because that has a direct impact on your center of balance. This is the best way I found to demonstrate this. When I say go, these guys are going to point their toes outward. Now, they've been through this exercise numerous times. So, guys, when I say go, point your toes outward, but don't anticipate how your body's going to react. Just let it react normally, okay? So those of you watching this, do the same thing. Get in a wide stance, knees bent, and toes pointed straight forward, okay? When I say go, I want you to point your toes out, but be aware of how it affects your body's balance. All right, ready? Go. Okay, relax. Toes straight forward. Let's do it again. You can either do it again on your own or watch how their body reacts to this. When I say go, point your toes out. Everybody else take a note of how it affects their balance or how their body adjusts to this. And go. Okay, relax. Okay. All right, what you saw there was, what you normally see there is people leaning forward. But that's actually just a secondary consequence or reaction to what really happens. What happens when you point your toes backwards is that your center of balance shifts backwards and your body leans forward to compensate. Where that causes problem in judo or stand-up grappling is if I'm taking somebody that's heavier than I am and trying to throw them and my toes are pointed outward, it's probably not going to happen. Okay? The only way you'll be able to make it work is if you're just really, really strong. Great way to bring this to a close is Miss Marini. Her husband is Air Force. He's in Korea right now. She is, 5'1"? 5'1", and she just achieved the weight of 100 pounds, but he's, 5'11"? He's 5'8", but he weighs just over 200 pounds, and she can throw him over her shoulder. Number one, the technique is there. The balance and the timing, all the 8 components of quality technique is there. That's why she can take somebody that weighs over 100 pounds more than she does and throw this person over her shoulder. Granted, it's a static throw. He's not resisting. Okay, but that's the importance of these 8 components of quality technique. Somebody that's 100 pounds throwing somebody that's 210 pounds over the shoulder. Okay, that's footwork. Component is timing. Okay, one of the posters that I have here in the school is an older poster. It defines timing as linking all preparatory movement and body positioning to the beginning of the sequence. In the MDS 501 manual, it shows getting to the right place at the right time to launch the kinematic sequence. Okay, Nathaniel, if you do have a seat over there. Great time or great way to explain some of the misapplications of some judo throws, okay? Again, getting to the right place at the right time to launch the kinematic sequence, okay? We're going to use the throw osotogari or outer leg reap to demonstrate this. Okay, you're going to get in right leg forward, fighting stance. Okay, Caleb, remember how we did that shuffle up? Okay, a lot of times you'll see people doing this throw, just lock up. They'll see people doing this throw, reaching out with their leg to hook the other person's leg. Do that. Just hook the outer leg. Okay. This, you can execute this throw this way, but it puts this person's knee in a lot of danger. You take a chance on really damaging that person's ACL. Okay. Plus, if she's trying to lift her leg to hook his leg to lift his leg, she's putting herself in a much worse position than he's in. Okay. As she tries to lift his leg, okay, he's got 2 legs on the ground. She's got 1. All he has to do is turn and yank, and he's taken her completely off her feet onto the ground. Okay, now this throw can be done like this. It's just not a very good application. The other way, move this way, is to move forward, hip to hip. For those of you who have ever played foosball, it's a little board game, table game where you're rolling these little men around a bar. Think about that game. Think about a bar, but you're going from outer hip, inner hip, to his inner hip, outer hip. What she wants to do is roll him over that bar. Okay, now some people use this as a trip. Nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly okay, but that's not how osotogari itself is applied. What she's going to be doing is catching lower calf to lower calf to hook his leg, lifting his leg at the same time. Now in Japanese Kodokan, their kazushi is lifting. In Korean Judo, they're breaking their balance is striking across their throat or upper body, knocking their upper body backwards at the same time, lifting that leg. We're not tripping, we're actually sweeping this person completely off their feet. I've used this before when I was a police officer. Accidentally took down the other officer that had the other arm of the suspect. It made the other officer angry with me because it ruined the knees of a brand new pair of pants. He called me some really bad names because of it. Okay, this throw isn't just a trip. If you're actually doing the judo throw of osotogari, it's not just a trip, it's a sweep. Ripping that leg up off the ground, striking across the chest. When we get to the sequencing part of the component, we're going to demonstrate that the actual throw. There's a flow to how you execute a throw. My experience in the Army, we use the phrase crawl, walk, run to describe how we start learning a tactic, how we get used to executing a tactic, and then how we become expert at a tactic. So as we're learning how to do one-point shoulder throw or ippon seoi-nage, we're going to break it down into one step at a time. Her right foot steps in with her heel pointed backwards. You see the placement of her foot. If she puts her foot too far back, then it's going to make it impossible for her to get her center of balance underneath her opponent's center of balance. So you want her foot right about here or a little bit slightly forward, about halfway down the length of his foot, of your opponent's foot. Now, the next sequence, the next technique is shoving your arm into your opponent's armpit. Okay, and please note, we're not just trapping the elbow, we're not grabbing with our hand, we're shoving our arm hard into the armpit. Okay, tighten up your shoulder, Anthony, Kayla, strike. Okay, hard.
Harder?
Yeah, harder. Okay, what you see Anthony doing is his body is moving up a little bit each time. That raises his center of balance, which makes it a little bit easier for her to do the next, which is turning. Okay, notice, not that far, about a 45-degree angle. Okay, now from right here, since she's shorter than him, her center of balance is automatically underneath his. What she's going to be doing as she's stepping in is bending the knees, pointing his toes straight forward, leaning him over, and picking up. There we go. Okay, back out again. Okay, move back a little bit. I'm not sure if we're too close to the camera. Okay, right foot steps in, heel backwards. Right arm into the armpit. Trap, don't grab. 45-degree angle. Toes in, bend your knees, lean them over, pick them up. Okay, that's the crawl part of this. And now, without me telling her she's been doing this enough, she's going to be doing this throw, add in a little bit of speed, make it a little more fluid. Go. Good. Toes straight forward. Okay. Great. Sorry, I have to do this. Great explanation of why our toes are straight forward. That time our toes were pointed out. His weight pulled her backwards. Okay, do it again. Toes in. Good. Anthony, how much do you weigh? 150. So at least 50 pounds heavier, but she's making it look easy. All right, guys, we're at component number 6 of the 8 components of quality technique. That's sequencing. The best way to show this flow of energy from one muscle group to the other is to show the smooth transition from standing out to where you're locked up to each step into this throw and actually throwing somebody. What we're going to do is show you ippon seoi-nage, ogoshi, rote seoi-nage, and then tomonage. I'll take each person, each throw, we're going to go step by step, and then I'm going to have the person execute it. Okay. First throw is called ippon seoi-nage. It's one-point shoulder throw. I'm going to lock up. First movement is right foot steps in, heel inverted, Right arm up underneath the armpit, smacking up in there, raising their center of balance, squaring slightly to a 45 degree, toes pointed inward, bend the knees, lean them over, you pick them up. That's the fit in. Okay, now, Mr. Nathaniel is going to be kicking this mat. My flooring here is cushioned. I've got 700 foam blocks underneath here, but just to make sure we're doing this safely, we also have a crash mat. As Kayla steps in to do this throw, Nathaniel is going to slide the mat up underneath so that Anthony is actually landing on a little more cushion. All right, when you're ready. Okay, do it again. Be sure to lift. Excellent, good. Okay, now, absolutely nothing wrong with falling with your opponent. In fact, a lot of times when I'm doing ogoshi, I'll land with it. If you ever saw, forget which match it was, Ronda Rousey did a left side ogoshi, but landed on top of her opponent at the same time, which knocked the air out of her opponent. Her opponent's arms were trapped here, and her face was wide open. They actually had to stop the match because her opponent literally could not defend herself because she did a perfect left side ogoshi, landed on top. Ogoshi is major hip throw. In this throw, you're starting the process the same way as ippon, but you're squaring your back completely using the back, part of your back over your kidney to pivot your opponent over, okay? Right foot steps in, right arm around the waist. Don't get used to grabbing the belt because the odds are somebody attacking you on the street aren't going to be wearing this black belt, okay? Squaring completely, lowering center of balance, using the hip to lift up. All right, back out. Anthony, as he stated, is around 150 pounds. I'm 180, closer to 185. That one didn't miss. Good fit in. Making it look easy. Throw this time, guys. Next throw is called Morote Senagi. It's a shoulder throw. A lot of people in Judo or Japanese Judo call it Senagi. It's basically a shoulder throw. It's the same thing as ippon, but you're holding on to your opponent's lapel and using your elbow, shoving up into their armpit to lift their center of balance. Now, turn around facing them later. This is where you normally grab that person, but I want to grab him right here because I've had reconstructive surgery in my shoulder and it doesn't move that far. Daniel is going to demonstrate Tomonagi. Great throw to use against somebody that's bigger than you or against somebody that's just driving you backwards, okay? Move over that a little bit. No, Anthony, right here. And let's say Anthony's 200 pounds. He's locked, he's got me. Lock up. He's driving me backwards. As his legs are driving me backwards, I can't stop him. What I'm going to do is move with him. Drive backwards. This way, okay? I'm using his strength and his power against him. He's driving this way, suddenly I yank him this way. Tomonagi can be dangerous though, because we call it a sacrifice throw. If you don't do it right, if they anticipate it, you're pulling them down right on top of you. But Nathaniel is really good at Tomonagi. All right, lock up. Okay, now, contrary to what you normally see, you don't do the foot in the stomach and sit down separately. It's at the exact same time. Nathaniel's going to grab as high as he can on Anthony's lapel and yank his upper body down. And now he's going to step his left foot closer, other left foot, sit down, put your foot in the stomach, and throw. Okay, back up. Now, this time, Nathaniel is going to throw Anthony through the back door. What's the matter, Anthony? Go. Okay. Do it one more time. As you sit down, make sure your knees bent and then extend. It's like you're doing a thrusting front kick. Good. All right, guys, that's Tomonagi. We've done Ippon Senagi, Ogoshi, Morote Senagi, and Tomonagi. All right, everybody line up here. And once again, since we're demonstrating Japanese techniques, we're going to use Japanese commands. Cut, right.